gorgeous, welcome back to the makeup aisle. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look you see right here. I am so excited because I am using the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place, which I picked up at IMATS last week. If you saw my IMATS haul, you would have seen this. And this is what this palette looks like. As soon as I opened it, I knew I needed to do a tutorial with it. And there's still so many looks that you can get out of this. Like, this was just something that I looked at and kind of put together for you. I used 3 to 4 shades, but really there are so many looks you can get out of this palette. So I'm so excited to continue to play with it. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please just leave them in the comment bar below. If you are interested to see how I got this look using the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place, then please keep watching. So I've already prepped my eyelid with my MAC paint pot in Painterly, and now I am going to go ahead and go into the Saharan palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm going to start with the shade Katsina, which is a really nice kind of light brown, almost like soft brown from MAC, and that is just to go ahead and go over the paint pot so it kind of lays down that concealer without then the shadow skipping. I just find that if I leave the primer by itself, any shadows that I apply after it will skip and not really lay down nicely. So I'm just going to put that all over the eyelid, and per usual I kind of pat it down and just make sure that all of the concealer or primer is covered with shadow. So I'm going to take that same shade Katsina and I'm going to start kind of carving out my crease above my natural crease. If you've seen any of my past tutorials, you know that my eyes are pretty hooded, so that if I were to open my eyes and then just kind of look at you straight ahead, all the color is lost. So I always go above my natural crease or where it's supposed to be to make sure that all of the color that I want to show shows, because it's crazy to go through all this work and then not have the shadows show up. So as you can see, it kind of lays the groundwork. You can see a little bit of shading there to start out that kind of carved out crease that I want. And then I'm going to go into the shade Jamila, which is this really beautiful orange shade right here. And I'm going to go over what I did with Katsina, because that is going to be, as you can see in the other eye here, kind of that transition shade up above the natural crease. These colors are so beautiful, just really, really gorgeous. And as you can see, the color payoff is really nice. You do get a lot of kick up with these shadows, but you know, all you have to do is just tap off the excess. But again, the color payoff is there. You build it up as much as you want, but even just with a couple of applications, you really get great saturated color. I'm going to take this down a little lower into the crease, and then just keep blending and blending in windshield wiper motion back and forth. So then I'm going to go back into Katsina, and I'm going to go above the orange and just start blending that out a bit so that it's not harsh and everything looks really nice and blended. And like I've said before, we definitely want to blend out. That's seriously the name of the game when you're working with shadows, is just blend. So the next shade that I'm going to go into is this, oh God, and I am going to butcher this, Wadabi, I believe. It's this gorgeous green gold shimmer. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I kept looking at the shades and I'm like, what am I going to pick? But that kind of greenish gold just kept on talking to me, and I'm like, we're just going to do that today. So I'm going to grab, oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what brush I was using before. To start off with the Katsina and also Jamila, I was using my Sigma E40 tapered blending, which I always start with. And then I'm going to go in now with the MAC 242, which is just a beautiful kind of flat brush there. It's just perfect for picking up any pigments or glitters or that sort of thing. So I'm going to pick up the Wadabi on my brush after I sprayed it with Fix Plus. Very, very vibrant. I am going to go ahead and pack it all over the lid, but what I'm going to do is I'm really going to concentrate this color on the inner half of the lid, and I'm not going to go above the natural crease. As you can see, it's really, really bright, really kind of greenish gold, But I wanted to do something a little brighter today, because when you look at a Juvia's Place palette, it's like, that's where you have to go. This is the purpose of these palettes. You get nice browns and things like that, nice transition colors, but really they're meant to be such bright looks, and I just absolutely love it. I will end up going back over it. When I was doing my other eye off camera, once I start popping the black on there, it will get mixed in a little with that gold, which you could see there, and it's fine because that's what I wanted. But like I said, I'm concentrating that color really on the inner half because that's where it's really going to show up. So once I'm done with that, I'm actually going to go back in with my E40, and I'm going to pick up Jamila again, which is that orange, and then start blending that out, coming down just a bit to pick up the Wudabi to make sure that it's not really harsh, that it kind of just mixes in really nicely. And then I'm going to pick up Katsina again, which is that brown, and go above the orange there and blend that out. So I'm kind of blending as I go so that I'm not blending everything at the end. Everything's already where I want it as I'm continuing to go on. Next, I'm going to pick up my ColourPop. It's kind of a fluffy brush there, almost like flat tapered, but it's more fluffier than, like, let's say the MAC 242. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up Chad, which is the black right here on the bottom. What then I'm going to start doing is going in on the corner, and also kind of, if you could see in this eye, above the green, so in between the green and the orange. So once I'm done applying the black where I want it, I want to get my placement down pretty much first, and then I'll blend it back out. I'm going to go back in with Wudabi just to kind of, not darken it because it's not a dark color, but just kind of rehydrate it in a way, and just make sure that the color on the inner half of the eye is vibrant. So like I said, this is a really colorful look, but you can't look at a Juvia's Place palette and not be inspired to do a colorful look. I'm going to then go back in with the E40 tapered blending, go back into Jamila, which is that orange, and then I'm going to start blending that out, again bringing it down just a bit into the black and the Wudabi to make sure that it's not harsh. I'm going to then go back into Katsina, which is that light brown, and above the orange there, blend that out as well. At this point, I think I'm going to go back into Chad, which is the black, and just kind of darken up a little just in the corner. You can still see some of the Wudabi, which is that green gold, but that's fine. That's kind of what I wanted. What I'm going to do next is do my winged liner, and then I'm going to clean up under the eye. That's pretty much it for the actual lid. And then once I'm done doing lashes and liner on the left eye, I'm going to go ahead and finish both eyes. So I went ahead and did the winged liner on my left eye. And while I am curling my lashes here, I am going to go ahead and highlight the brow bone, and I'm going to use MAC Shroom for that. Unfortunately, in the Saharan palette, there wasn't really anything that I deemed proper. I think not proper, but just that I think would be a really nice brow bone highlight. Like the lightest color there is almost like a silver, so I wanted to use something a little different. So I'm going in with MAC Shroom and just highlighting the brow bone on both sides. And now that that's done, I am going to go ahead and apply the false lash to my left eye. I just want to make sure it's curled really well because, again, since I don't have any lashes, sometimes they can feel pretty heavy, even when they're very light lashes, because they're just literally on my eyelid. And I want to make sure that they're curled really well before I go ahead and apply them. So I'm using the Duo Brush On Adhesive Glue for this. Love this because of the way the brush is. It's really thin and the glue just gets to exactly where you want it to be. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on, and let's hope it's not an ordeal because sometimes it can be. And I'm just making sure that that's pressed onto the lid nicely. I really don't bother it after that. Just kind of make sure it's on there so it can dry in a good spot. A lot of times I cut my lashes, not in half, but almost in half, because I hate the way it feels on the inner corner. But again, I think that's because I wasn't letting the glue dry completely, so I was just having issues with that. And I'm gonna clean up under my left eye because you do get fallout, obviously. And I wanna make sure that when I'm applying my primer and foundation, I'm doing that on a clean face. I am going in with my Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, which is the mattifying. Now we are into spring and summer, so my skin is getting really slick, really oily, really sweaty, which is very annoying, but this primer does the trick. I really, really love it a lot. And the thing I like about this primer too is that once you apply it, it kind of turns tacky. So, which is great because your foundation's really gonna stick to this. I already have primer and foundation on the forehead portion of my face, I guess, if you wanna say it that way, because I have to do my eyebrows first, and so I always have that part done. Today I am going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Foundation. I used this once just to try it. I really like this foundation because it is very full coverage, but still very nice. And I don't put a lot on because it is such full coverage. I'll just add to what I need as I, if I need it as I continue on. It's just a really nice foundation, covers everything. And like I said, I found as I continued to use it, I just liked the way it was gonna look on camera. So I decided to pop it out today because I haven't used it in a very, very long time. I'm gonna add a little more to just some little spots. But that's the good thing about foundation and good foundation is that if you build it up, it's not gonna look crazy or crappy. And so I just start out with the smallest amount I can to get that coverage in place. And then if I feel like I need more, I will go ahead and do that. But for me, I think that looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and do concealer under my eyes, and then we will go ahead and set that. So today I'm actually also going to use my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I'm trying to finish this up like in the worst way. Put that under my eye. And I start with one first. I just find that I work better that way so I don't have to work too quickly if I don't have to. The coverage with this is just absolutely gorgeous. So, so nice. Delivery system sucks, and I think everybody thinks that. The pump on this is just, it has a mind of its own, and you just end up with so much more product than you need. So it's obviously a waste sometimes when you're doing this. But it is good coverage and a really good concealer. Tap it into the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in. I always start out with the fat part of my beauty blender because it just gets a larger area, and then I'll come in with the really pointed end and then just kind of get up to the lash line as close as I can. I'm then going to go in with my Anastasia banana powder, which is my go-to literally all the time to set my under eye area. Love the banana powder because it brightens under the eye, but it's not too white cast for me. I tried the RCMA powder. That stuff was way too white for me. So for powder, I'm going to go in with my BH Studio Pro Matte Finished pressed powder. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my face to mattify the areas that I do not want to get shiny. This is a really nice powder because it's very light, and the fact is that it's very inexpensive because it's from BH Cosmetics, and it just works so beautifully. I really do like this powder a lot. So as you can see, I got a little more coverage with the powder, so that's why I tend to not overdo it on foundation whenever I apply it, because I always set my face with powder. I know people don't, and so they obviously want that fuller coverage with the foundation when they first apply it. I am going to go ahead and finish my eyes. I'm going to do the lower lash line. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick up first the orange color, which is Jamila here. And I'm going to grab my Morphe B75, which is a flat shader brush, as you can see there. And I'm going to pick up that shade, and I am going to get it as close to the lower lash line as I possibly can, so almost kind of like lining my eyes with this shade. Then next, I'm going to take Catsina, which is that light brown, and I am going to put that kind of halfway onto the orange, but then a little lower to kind of really buff that orange out. Then I'm going to take my Monster pencil from Art & Cien, and then I'm going to line the lower waterline. I've already lined the lower waterline, and I am going to go ahead back in with MAC Shroom, and I am going to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. I'm just grabbing this small Real Techniques brush, and this is a smudge brush. I mean, it's super tiny, and I always use it for the inner corner of my eye because I find that it fits the inner corner of the eye really well. So for bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and use my Bare Minerals bronzer in the High Dive. Love this bronzer. It's completely matte. Love the shading on this because it's really nice and dark for my skin, so I love it. And it just applies like a dream. For blush, I am going to use my ColourPop blush in New Lows. That is L-O-W-E-S. I have this in my everyday makeup drawer for this month, and I've used it several times. And I'm like thinking, why have I not really brought you out of my makeup collection? This blush is absolute perfection. It goes on beautifully. It lasts because it's almost like that soft, not a gel, but just a very soft, solid type of consistency. So it just goes on so beautifully. For highlighter today, I'm going to use the Too Faced Love Light Prismatic Highlighter in Ray of Light. That's what it looks like. This is the one, the new heart ones. And it's almost like, I don't know, goldy pinky type of shade. This is absolutely gorgeous as well on the cheeks. And you pick it up and you just have product on your brush. It's really good. And this brush that I'm using for highlighting is my favorite brush to highlight with. It's the Morphe M501. I just love it because it's just a little fluffier than, like, let's say a fan brush. I'll use a fan brush sometimes, but I notice that because it's very thin, you get that application also very thin, where this will cover a little more of the tops of your cheeks. For lips today, I am going to start out by lining my lips with the Gerard Cosmetics lip pencil in Cher, but I am going to go in with a different lip color. I am going to go in with the Nuance lipstick from Salma Hayek. This you can get at CVS. And the shade on this is Mystic Mauve. It's one of my favorite lipsticks. It's so pretty. And this is a cream lipstick, so it's not going to dry matte. It is going to transfer if you should drink or eat or anything while you're wearing this. On top of that, I'm going to go on with the Nuance lip gloss. This is also by Salma Hayek, and the shade on this is Toasted Honey. I don't put on too much, just enough to kind of add a little moisture and a little more color. To finish off, I'm going to use my Milani Make It Last setting spray, which of course I've been using a lot lately if you've been watching any of my videos, but it's just absolute perfection. It really does hold on to the makeup and make it last that much longer throughout the day. So spray away. So that's it, guys. This is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's something that you're inspired to recreate, whether it's on yourself or someone else. I really enjoyed putting together this look because I haven't done any tutorials with the Juvia's Place palette, so I was really excited to get this done for you guys. Thank you again for spending a few moments of your day with me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notification as to when I upload any new videos. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.